Hello, this is Julius from Basic Financials. Today I'd like to do a little video about student loans. This is revisiting student loans really. I had a previous video where I was describing a bit of how they actually work. And at the end of that video I was getting a little bit waffly because I was trying to say whether it was the right thing to do to take out the loan in the first place. And it was a bit difficult, so I just decided to stop it there and said I might do another one. Well, here it is, I'm doing another one. This could be a bit waffly as well because there are so many things to consider when deciding should you take out the student loan or not. And so the first thing to say really is if you can't afford to go to university without taking out a student loan, then decisions made up. You take out the student loan. It's worth doing it. It means that you can afford to go to university, get your degree, and hopefully that will give you a better qualification and therefore more income. And the repayment of that student loan is only supposed to be repaid when you're able to do so, when you can afford to do so. So it's a tax really. I discussed that in the last video. Now, so this video really is it's almost for parents in a way. So if you're a student and you're watching this, and your parents, or you think they've got enough money to pay your student fees without taking out a loan, get them to watch this because they may be thinking, oh, should we or shouldn't we pay them off? Do we just get our child to get a student loan like most other people are doing, or should we use the money we've got that we were going to give to them in 20, 30, 40 years' time, should we use it now to pay their education fees? And that's a very difficult decision to make, mainly because you don't really know whether you would be repaying that loan or not. There are a number of instances when you might never repay it. You might never earn enough for some reason. You might get a part-time job for the rest of your life, or a voluntary job. You might die. Well, that's not a very nice thought, is it? But so the whole bunch of reasons why you might pay those fees, and then it turns out, well, if I hadn't have paid them, I would never have had to have paid any money back. But having said that, if everyone thought like that, and nobody ever paid any student fees, then it's got to be paid somehow. So, should you be trying to get around the system? Well, it's not getting around the system, really, is it? You're just using the system. But those fees do have to the money has to come from somewhere. That's always worth bearing in mind. Now, if you have the money as a parent, if you can afford to pay those student fees, then, in my opinion, it's worth doing it. If everything were to go to plan, and your child gets a good degree, gets a good job, gets a good income, I've worked it out that if your student loans, including your maintenance, were about 45,000 in 3 years, then you could well end up paying back 100 to 120,000. Okay, it's when they can afford to do so, but just because you can afford to pay a tax of 50% doesn't mean you want to, does it? So if you can do something to stop that, rather than give your children an inheritance of £50,000 more in 30, 40 years' time, maybe use it now to save them the hassle of the student loan for the next 30 years. That's the other thing. After 30 years, if you haven't repaid, then it gets written off. At least those are the terms at the moment. There's another thing. When you look at the detail of student loans and terms and conditions, one of the first things it says is that these terms and conditions can be changed at any time. Who would enter into a loan that says, oh yeah, this is how it is, but we might change it? That just seems a bit strange to me. But that doesn't mean you shouldn't do it. But it is another thing that weighs up. If you can not do it, if you can't not do it, then maybe that's the right thing. Maybe you should pay those fees out of money you have now. You might decide to do a mixture. If you've can afford to pay the tuition fees but need a maintenance grant, or the other way around, you might get the student loan for the fees and pay any sort of maintenance costs, all of that, and don't get any of that part of the loan. So there's a whole bunch of scenarios that you can go through there, and there isn't a right or wrong answer. But my thought is that if you've got the money, it'd be better to invest it in your child now, rather than give them an inheritance later on. Just could save a lot of hassle. I don't think that I can really add much more to that, but just so anyone who's having the dilemma there, you can see that you're not alone. And if anyone who's thinking seriously about it, it's a very difficult thing to think about. And you can't come to a right or wrong answer. It's going to be different for everybody. And you might do the right thing, it might turn out to be the wrong thing, but you can only do what you can. If you think about it, make your decision at the time, go with it. You can't. That's all you can do. That's the best you can do. Anyway, I hope that helps a little bit. Probably not, but there you go. I thought I'd share it anyway. Like and subscribe as usual, and I'll see you again soon.